I just put a reel up 2 days ago talking about the phone is not the drug. People say that they're addicted to their phones. I'm like, no, the phone is not the drug. It's the needle. So what's coming through the needle into your body is rage. And so the phone isn't the rage. It's just the needle. So a junkie isn't addicted to the needle. They're addicted to what's coming through the needle. And guess what? You go to a doctor's office and they're trying to save your life. They will put something through a needle into your body. So the needle is neither good nor bad. So what I tell people is when you disconnect from the needle, from whatever is filling you to the point where you can't have relationships with people you used to, when you disconnect from the needle, I promise, the rage will go away. You will still be angry about things. You'll still be sad about things, but you will no longer have rage. And the rage is the drug, it's the current drug in America. And the rage is the thing that's keeping us away from people that we used to have relationships with. So step one, if you're wanting to fix a relationship that has been broken because of differences of political opinions or viewpoints, is a step away from the rage drug, whatever that looks like. And we'll get into that in the next, maybe later in the conversation. But that for most people, that's the needle of the phone. And that's where you're getting your rage. And that's where you're getting your opinions. That's where you're just feeding yourself every single day. Once you do that and you be still, lower the volume of life, you now have capacity to see people that don't look like you, think like you, believe like you. So one of my longest standing friendships in 2020, 25 years of friendships with this dude, best friends, evaporated because of politics. Just almost overnight. He shot me a text. I can't believe you would vote for this. And I shot him a text. Well, I can't believe you would. And next thing you know, after 5 minutes of texting, we were done. I was like, I can't believe I just lost that. So what do? I had to find something that we both can root for. Every single person that's listening to this right now that has a relationship with somebody that's broken because of something big that they believe, I'm not saying it's little, they still have things they can find that they can root for together. So I knew that we both loved Nashville SC, our soccer team. So in 2020, after 6 months of not talking to each other, I bought 2 season tickets. And I texted him after 6 months of not talking. I said, hey, I bought you a season ticket right next to me for Nashville SC. What if every other Saturday when we play at home, we show up together, sit next to each other, and just scream our heads off, rooting for the same thing? Bro, one game to the next, our relationship began to heal. Did we ever talk about the thing that we vehemently disagreed with? Not at the games, but the relationship was the thing that allowed us a year or two later to finally have the conversation that we had built safety and trust with through these things that we were rooting for together, to have the deeper conversations. I guess what I want to tell people is you can't change somebody if you're not in a relationship with them. So if what you're truly wanting to see is change, how in the world are you going to change anything if you're not talking? So for those of you that really love your parents or your kids or your friends and you're not in a relationship anymore and you want to see them changed, you're not going to be able to change without being in relationship and without sacrificing some yourself and without being curious. You know, I've got an hour and a half of, I could just talk and not even have you ask me a question, but the kind of the way that I've structured this into, I do a lot of keynotes and like government agencies, a lot of corporate clients based on this framework that I built. If you truly want to see change in somebody or workplace or something, it always starts with curiosity. You have to be curious. Curiosity leads to empathy. Empathy for whoever it is you're trying to be curious about or see change in. Empathy leads to trust. Trust leads to relationship, and then relationship leads to change. But people want change without any of the other stuff there. Curiosity, empathy, trust, relationship, change. Once you build that into kind of the arc of how you interact with people that you disagree with, I'm telling you, the amount of people that I vehemently disagree with, like I think are nasty, disgusting in the way that they talk to people online, but we've had the best meals together over a table here in Nashville. And I mean, there's a political pundit that I vehemently disagree with that. If I said his name, everyone on your podcast would know who I'm talking about. They're so mean. This person's so mean. So mean. I followed them for years. So mean. I was at a restaurant here in Nashville, and person walked in with their spouse, and I was like, and they sat right across the aisle. Didn't know who I was. I knew who they were. And my wife's like, "Who's that?" Because she could see I was freaking out. "Oh, that's blankety blank. I can't stand that dude." She's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, like what he says." She's like, "Yeah, but do you know him?" I was like, "No, but what he says I can't stand." Okay. So she looks at me. She goes, "You need to pay for his meal." I'm not paying for that dude's meal. What are you talking about? She's like, "You're Mr. Don't Stand on Issues, Walk with People." So I couldn't believe I was doing this. I'm telling you, this dude was so mean. I walked up to him and his wife, and I said, "Hey man, I need to let you know something. I know you just moved to town. Welcome to town." He's like, I said, "Also, like, I disagree with almost everything that you say on the internet." And his wife starts dying laughing. I said, "But you know what? I listen anyway because like I'm learning when I listen to you. And I just want to say, welcome to town. Listen, this is my mechanic. He's incredible. I know that's probably going to be one of the first things you look for. This is our pediatrician." I gave him kind of some things like that. Dude's mouth was hanging open. I think he was thinking I was going to accost him. And I said, "Anyway, welcome to town. And I just want to say, I told him, I said, my name's Carlos, whatever." So I leave and I told the waitress, I was like, "Hey, I want to pay for his meal." So didn't even tell him. A couple hours later, this mean dude on the internet gets on Twitter. Guys, you'll never believe what just happened. Some dude that doesn't vote like me, that's like on the other side of the alpha, literally, his name was Carlos, came up to me, said, "Welcome to town," and paid for my meal. Me and my wife are never going to forget this. So Carlos, whoever you are, thank you. My phone starts blowing up because every single person I knew that was like, "That was you. That was you." But here's the thing. Since then, me and mean guy, no less than 20 lunches.
Wow.
Guess what? He's not mean guy. He's actually not mean at all. He's actually one of my favorite people. Do we agree on pretty much everything? No. We actually disagree on pretty much everything. But you know what we agree on? His kids, his wife, his faith, and a lot of sports and a lot of other fun things, movies and hobbies. And I'm just telling you, this is just a better way to do it. It's just a better way to do it. So yeah, there's the don't stand on issues, walk with people piece.
I love it.
It's difficult, but it's worth it.
I love it. Is one of the things that you realize from doing that is that everyone thinks they're doing the right thing. Like they think everyone's trying to make the right decision.
Of course.
So there's reason behind.
Well, not only reason, but a lot of people that are so strong in their opinions, actually, it's not even like an adult opinion. A lot of why we believe so strongly can be traced back to wounds in our childhood. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, I would say if all of us were to do the work, I've done so much therapy, it's not even funny. So you're just talking to a dude that's been therapized. Yeah. So much of who I am was the good and the bad was born when I was 5 years old. And what I like to do when I find somebody that I vehemently disagree with, especially when it comes to hot button issues, is I try. Now this is more people that maybe famous people. I find a picture of them. I try to Google and find a photo of them when they're a little kid. And with presidential candidates, I don't care who it is. And I find that photo and I just kind of look at them. I'm like, okay, this is actually who they really are. This is where a lot of their beliefs were born. And so, yeah. So, I think that when we see a person as a holistic human, not an enemy, which is hard these days because enemy is the word that everyone wants to use. This is my political enemy. This is your whatever enemy. Faith-wise, that's an enemy. That's evil. There's all of this language trying to get us to look at another human being and not see them holistically as a child of God. And I just won't do it. And so, yeah, I think that seeing somebody past their opinions is really hard in this day and age, because we are tethered to these needles that don't give us the access to access parts of us that we used to be able to access because we don't have solitude anymore. We don't have the capacity to even think in a way. I think we were created to think because we're just constantly filling ourselves up and injecting ourselves. So yeah, I think I rambled a little bit. But
no, let's talk about that because they're so related. This idea of feeding our beliefs and just continually intaking stuff that makes us almost feel more hatred towards someone who doesn't agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, how is that kind of a vicious cycle that maybe has never existed before?
I think people used to say, sex sells. So let's put sex on everything it sells. Now, rage sells.
Oh,
it is way more addicting than sex. I'll tell you what, because I just think there's more rage addicts than sex addicts out there. And I don't have the data to prove that. I just see it every day. And so the problem is that I don't think people even know they're addicted to rage. They'll say they're addicted to their phone, but I'm the one that's saying, no, you're not. You're not addicted to your phone. No one is addicted to the needle. You're addicted to what's coming through the needle. And it's rage. And so we sit in these echo chambers and so what ends up happening is like, I try to tell people this all the time. Like, I know that your thumbs are sore from spending hours every single day defending your cause and attacking this thing and but can you please tell me one single time that someone you disagreed with on social media typed something out with their thumbs and you said, oh my gosh, they're right. They're right. I'm wrong. I'm having it changed. No, because it doesn't happen that way. It's a long game. And so so what ends up happening is we post these things and then all of a sudden we got 27 likes on our comeback on that person's post. And it's like, oh, that feels confirmation. And my rage is working. And it's like, no, guys, or do we not see how silly this actually is? And so, what do we do, when we realize that rage is actually stealing? Again, the week that we're in, I've talked to friends that have little kids, toddlers. And I look at how many things they've posted and how many comments, and I'm like, how? And so I asked one of them, can you show me your screen time from this last week? It was mind-blowing. I was like, did you even talk to your family? Did you even, we're being, literally our lives are being hijacked by rage. Hijacked by strangers that don't even care about your rage. And so I think, again, going back to it, and this goes into my next book, but we've got to disconnect from the rage machine in order to reconnect with who we were really created to be. And so, for me, what is helping disconnect from the rage? Like, what do? I literally have one 24-hour period a week, 24 straight hours that I don't look at a single screen. So every single week, it's 24 straight. It could be Thursday, Tuesday, Sunday. I don't look at a television, a phone, an Apple Watch, not a single thing. Can I tell you the breath that breathes back in my lungs?
I can feel it right now.
It is so mind blowing. Now I 3 years ago, I spent a little over 2 months not looking at a single screen. So I know I tell people all the time, I'm the only friend you have, whether it's Instagram friend or real friend, that has spent 2 months and not looked at a single screen. So I'm not saying I'm the expert, but I'm saying I'm the expert. And I know that when I did that experiment on myself, I've got brain scans, I got all kinds of stuff. But what I know my soul feels, I couldn't scan my soul. There's no soul scan, MRI. But my soul, I literally felt like an asthmatic I didn't realize I'd been having an asthma attack for 10 years. And all of a sudden I could you just said it. Oh, I can feel it. Just even talking about 24 hours, you're like, oh my God. Like just like the breath that I gave you. 2 months. When I first moved to Nashville, I developed asthma because the allergies here are horrible. But I didn't know I developed asthma. My wife told me every night, honey, you're wheezing every night. I was like, I am? She's like, yeah, you sound like Darth Vader. And I was like, what? So she recorded me and I was like, I don't feel like I'm breathing like that. I'm working out every day. I'm running. She's like, go to an allergist. So I go to an allergist. He has me blow into a tube. He goes, yeah, you're only using 60% of your lung capacity. I was like, what? He goes, you've just slowly gotten used to not breathing. So you don't even know you're not breathing. This is what when an allergist drops a truth bomb on me that he wasn't expecting to drop on me, I was like, so then he hands me an inhaler. He's like, just shake this thing up. I never used one. I shake it up. That second breath, I went from 60% lung capacity to 100% lung capacity. And I was like, I didn't even know I wasn't breathing. And I'm telling you, that's where most people are. They don't even know they're not breathing until they pull the needle out, give themselves 24 hours and go, wait, this is how we were created to live.
If you could take a second and hit that red button below this video, it would mean the world to me. It's kind of what fuels this show, and it's free for you to do. Just subscribe to the show, and if you want to, you can like the episode, which helps it get out to more people. It really means a lot to us. Thanks.